Hello, here we are. This is another episode in the How to Style series. This time it is the shop favorite, community favorite, customer favorite, OrSlow, the famed OrSlow from Japan. We all love it dearly. Real quick, I think I'm the only one. I've got the OrSlow 101s on right here. We've pulled some outfits for Alec here.
Yeah, it's like impossible to pull everything from OrSlow. We carry a ton of it and always have.
Yep.
And always will. We tried to avoid maybe more core pieces and focus more on seasonal pieces. So
Yes.
These are like fall, winter 25 pieces that were standouts. I think they're probably mixed in with some repeat things, but for the most part, wanted to point out some cool details and show what it looked like styled, because this one tends to get not ignored, but it just tends to sell so well that we don't do as many videos on it and stuff.
Basically what Timothy's alluding to too is we have so much seasonal product we've never had before. So yeah, let's just hop right into it the first look. Come on in, Alan. Goodness gracious. Don't you look great, huh? So right off the rip, let's go outermost layer down. We have the shop coat from OrSlow this season. It's all from OrSlow, so I'll stop saying that. It is in a super washed, I would say like mid to lightweight sateen. Incredibly drapey, and you can see here, sleeves are not so long, so you can still kind of get into the pockets, and it's not like you don't gotta roll them, you know, like you would like a vintage shop coat or something. Got the pocket on the inside, and then the snap buttons on the outside. This is incredibly roomy. Maybe, Al, if you could kind of show the width, you know? Yeah, there's a lot in there.
Yeah, if you've had the fatigues before, especially like used fatigues or just had a pair and then beat them up,
yeah,
that's the fabric you're dealing with.
Exactly.
Throughout. So it's just a bunch of that fabric. So you know that it's comfortable, it's easy to wear, it breathes, it drapes, it does all the things you kind of need it to do. Some people might be like, oh, you know why? Because it doesn't have like a ton of warmth, it's not lined, it's not wool, it's not these things. If anyone's ever had those jackets before, in my opinion, they sit kind of on top of you and you can't really move very well, and there's no flow to them, and it's kind of a pain. Whereas like the silhouette's really cool and great, but it just kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to wear, or they'll put like a lapel on them that makes it feel a little bit more like dressy.
Yeah, sure.
And people can't get over that. I think you look at this as like accomplishing the same long, cool silhouette that you'd get without being fussy at all. It drapes well, it's fabric you know, you can beat the shit out of it, it'll only get better. You can wash it if you need to.
100 times, yeah.
And it just kind of gives you something to put on over the top of everything, which is why I think you'd cut it this roomy. So like even if you have what I have on, like a blazer and stuff, you could just throw that over everything as you walk out the door at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Or in the morning. Personally like that it doesn't have so many details to it. So I think sometimes when you add all these different pockets, flaps, and blah, 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 it's just, it can be too much, and it's not really what I'm about personally.
Yeah, you already got a whole garment here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I think it kind of speaks for itself and wears almost like you said, like a big blanket you put over it.
Like a Snuggie, if you're familiar with a Snuggie.
Snuggie.
So then that's the top layer. Underneath, this is the first season that we've had knits from OrSlow. So these are a nice knit. We've got them in a brown, we've got them in a charcoal. So Al, what size do you have on here? So Al is in a 5. Shop coat was on the outermost layer. Underneath is this knit sweater. So we've had crew necks, which are more like a cotton crew neck, like a sport crew neck kind of situation. This is like a knit, like a really nice
proper knit. Doesn't feel too woolly, doesn't feel exactly cashmere. It's kind of somewhere in between. Like it's like rougher than a cashmere, lighter than a straight wool. So it lays really pretty. You can kind of tell that just in how well it moves and how springy it is. I think what they've really nailed though is they've taken the banding on the cuffs and the hem that would go on, like you'd see them on old cardigans, usually like old shaggy dogs and stuff. And they've still implemented those here, but they're not super tight. They're like super adjustable. Yeah. Everything else is more of that baggier fit that's popular right now,
nice,
especially with like the type of sleeve this is, because it's raglan, but there's actually a whole piece here that comes off, so it lays really nicely. You can really tell front facing how it just sort of lays on the body really great.
A nice quality wool will have plenty of warmth. It doesn't need to be like an incredibly thick knit for it to offer like the utility of the warmth. However, it's thin enough that you could layer this very easily under a denim jacket or something that doesn't have as much room as a shop coat. And then moving down on these, as I said earlier, we have seasonal fabrics in silhouettes that we're already familiar with. So we have the regular fit fatigues, slim fit fatigues. Most recently, about a year ago or 6 months ago, we got the vintage fit fatigues. Those come in dark olive. This is the next iteration of this. These are the vintage fit fatigues in an olive herringbone. It's really nice and crisp without being like a stiff ripstop or something, you know what I mean?
Herringbone will soften quickly.
Yes.
So even if it feels stiff right away, it's really irrelevant because of the way it's woven. It will just naturally fall and drape quickly, even just with some wear or like with a quick wash. I wouldn't let that bother anybody. It's more just that like it's actually nice that it feels so substantial.
Herringbone twill is used a lot in a lot of military garments, so I'm sure you're already familiar with it through other products or OrSlow OrSlow's worked with Herringbone Twill before. The old Canoe Club collabs, rubber herringbone twill.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited we got these in. It's just a little roomier than the regular fit without still being ill-fitting.
Well, and opposed to the vintage fit that came out before, those feel almost woolly. This is definitely less like OD green like we have from in the others. There's no mintiness to it. This is really flat, almost muddy. This colorway kind of lends itself well into like a more like earth tone collection. So if like that's what you're used to wearing, it's gonna be an easy way to add olive green to that collection rather than being the more like minty drabby colors sometimes you see.
Cool. Awesome. Let's toss on the next one. We got plenty more. So right off the rip, we kept the sweater underneath. It looks nice with this layering, so we don't need to talk about that. On the top, relaxed fit Oxford coverall. This goes hard, right, Timbo? We've had these for years.
They've had them for years. This has been kind of like a reoccurring silhouette, kind of an update from their older coverall, if you have one or have seen those before, in that it's like a little bit boxier, but I wouldn't describe it as like, it's not hugely boxy. It's more or less like they just lifted a couple inches kind of off the end. It kind of like diversifies itself in that way too. It makes it, I think, a little bit more wearable. It feels less to me like a piece that when I enter a room, I have to immediately take off because it seems weird that I'm wearing a jacket, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more versatile when it's cut this way. And I think it also just reads a little bit more modern while still being obviously like an incredibly classic piece.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had it in this exact green and brown colorway.
I'm not sure if we have either. Obviously, we've had it in denim, we've had it in yellow,
The
red, brown.
color,
There's a black one that is varied in terms of the wash, but I really like this. It's like a brown olive.
Just like we talked about with that last color olive, it kind of reads in that muddy green. The reason I like those kind of in-between colors, that like value scale, is that it kind of works with a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I mean, you can wear it with black. Yeah. Even though it has the brown color, it would absolutely work with black.
It kind of all blend together into a softer color.
Yeah.
I really like this specific colorway because in person, it almost, in certain lights, reads almost like a charcoal or something. But it's definitely olive, so you get that kind of classic barber look. Big pockets, all riveted, which is nice. So they're really strong. They'll stay around. A lot of triple needle stitch throughout. So this is going to wear just like a Carhartt, long term. So really like just that nice update. And it's like a really nice price point for what it is and what you're going to get out of it. So that's the jacket.
These are the 105XX, the 1950s. So the 1950s inspired.
The 501, like the classic, was the 1954.
Yes.
This is where the pant went from like the 47 model, which was like meant to be worn with boots, updated, but certainly wasn't completely out of the workwear trend just yet. This brings it out of the workwear trend. So a little bit more tapered. You can kind of see from the knee down.
It's going to fall on top of the shoe and drape in such a way instead of covering the shoe. You know what I mean?
Yep. And that was mostly because when they came over there, they were wearing like Oxfords instead of work boots.
Okay.
So it was an easy way to kind of clean that up. So I think it kind of cleans up the overall aesthetic. When I used to work with Levi's Vintage Clothing, they did a version of the 1954.
Yeah.
This is kind of a version of that. So the nice thing about that is you get all the room in the top block. There's a decent amount of rise, but not without being like, costumey at all, but a good amount of rise, bigger back pockets, a little bit more room in the hip, and then still got the room in the thigh with a little bit of taper down.
Will you turn to the side? Let's go to side silhouette. Really, really nice amount of room up here in the leg, but like still not like a baggy pair of pants. And we've said on the pod here on the YouTube, etc., we're maybe moving away from like super wide, super baggy to maybe more towards just like regular. You know what I mean?
If you need like, I need a new pair of jeans, I don't know where to start. I don't know if I want baggy. I don't know if I want tight. I don't know how I want them to fit. This is a perfect place to
100%.
start. I think it's great. I think it kind of falls almost in that 505 lane that I personally really love.
That's your favorite, yeah.
So I think this is a really good jean. It's made out of their standard denim, but almost feels like maybe it's a little thicker. I don't know if that's true or not, but it feels like a slightly thicker to me.
Sure. Also worth noting, selvage hit on the outside for all of you wondering, because I know you'll be emailing asking.
Yep, selvage ID on this.
So you can signal. You got them on. Cool. We'll grab the next look.
Great.
All right. The eagerly awaited cotton linen moleskin set. I know I was talking about things that I have, but
This is a cheese.
I have it. I got it right out of the box. It's too good. It's truly the highlight of the season for me, at least. It's a cotton linen moleskin blend. I would say it leans more towards cotton linen than it does the moleskin feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's the smoothness and the heavier nature that moleskin has, but it's certainly, I would say, up close really looks and feels much closer to, honestly, linen more than even cotton.
Agreed.
Yeah.
A couple things to note. One, plenty roomy. We have a 4 in this jacket. So you can kind of see Al is large. He's large. He can kind of fit into medium in some things, depending on how it's sizing. He's in a 4 here, looks nice and roomy on him, plenty of room falling off the shoulder. So we have it in both a brown and a charcoal. While this reads brown, this is the charcoal, and then the brown is like straight up brown. So we've got the kind of coverall work jacket over top, and then we have the matching fabric in the fatigues down low. These also fit roomier than the standard, closer to the summer weight fatigue.
Yeah. The thing I really love about like linen being blended into anything is the nature of the fabric looks luxurious and kind of fancy and pretty, especially up close because there's so much texture to it, and it'll continue to age that way. But what I love about linen stuff is actually kind of separate in that it doesn't need to be tailored perfectly. It's just going to drape pretty, and then because of that drapiness, it looks luxurious and it looks rich and it's comfortable, and it sort of hits all these different check marks that just make it easy to wear. You can throw it over anything, you can wear it under things. You can kind of do no wrong with it. It's really simple, and because of the way they've blended it with the cotton and moleskin, it's heavy enough that you're going to be fine through like fall and winter. No problem.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
It never really ends up looking all that wrinkly because it kind of exists in that space. I think that like when you put it together, it suddenly completes the whole outfit. No thought needs to go in this. It's white t-shirt and Clarks, and then you put this on top, and you could interchange just a million different outfits, and that's why I like having sets.
Yeah, you could absolutely throw one of the sweaters we had on from a previous look, a hoodie, a button-down shirt.
It's an easy way to dress up while dressing very much down. You get a lot out of a little.
Yeah, absolutely love it. You look great.
Cool,
let's go.
Right? All right, last look.
But anyway, let's start up top. So we have this coffee brown flannel. We've had flannels, we've had tops from OrSlow. This one's just nice.
It has this kind of unique texture to it. And the reason that it's kind of famous is that those ropes will get furry, you know what I mean, as you go. So that's what kind of makes it look like traditional flannel, even though it might not feel like traditional flannel to you, like right out the box.
The weight of it will obviously, like it'll wear like denim or something also. Like you know the elbows would kind of show wear and stuff. And then similarly to the charcoal cotton linen moleskin set, this is coffee brown. It kind of reads brown.
It looks like charcoal with the top layer being like a lighter grayish brown. It's got a unique color to it.
If you said it was washed black, I'd also believe you.
Yeah, it lives somewhere in between a lot of different colors.
Yeah. And then down low, the wide fit cargos. Couple things to shout out right off the rip. You do have the ties around the waist. So these are a little roomy on Alex's waist. So he was able to just go ahead and give him a tie. I love pants with the built-in kind of shoestring belt or you know, the drawstring. We have the two big cargos here on the side. It's cool, it kind of adds to the silhouette because they don't like stick off, but they're not necessarily like inset either. You know what I mean?
What I like about these in particular is that the pocket's not gusseted. Sometimes people want the silhouette of a kind of a cargo sort of going like that, which is what a gusseted one will do. Kind of almost like hangs off your knee. These ones are going to stay a little bit more flat, and these ones I've also noticed are up a little bit higher than normal. So you get
not at the bend of the knee.
Exactly. So I think you get a bit more interesting of a silhouette overall. The way they've even done the back, it doesn't also do that. You're not getting this big old like dumpy ass on them. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's a really clean way to do a relaxed leg. And because these will soften up so much over time, the drape's gonna be solid, they'll move with you. Yeah. Easy to take care of too because of the fabric, and they're tough.
Also, another really cool feature in a lot of old cargos, I have a vintage pair from a buddy that double taps, and they have the buttons here on the knees, so you can roll them up into shorts, and then there's kind of straps that you can button, and then they adhere into shorts. These have something really similar, but it's more down here. So you can roll these, just do 2 or 3 little rolls, and then a little strap kind of comes out. So come summertime, you want to wear them, have a little ankle showing. You don't want like as much falling to the ground.
Or if you want to go for a more advanced look, a taller boot with that is kind of
would be so sick. Yeah. So I'm trying on the navies as soon as we're done with this video. So I absolutely love these. These were something that I was eager for when we placed the order. So yeah, that was 4 looks. OrSlow, Fall Winter 25. It's really stellar stuff, as you saw on our beautiful boy Alec here.
Especially heading into holiday, if you're not sure what to get someone who's into fashion, I can almost promise you that we've sold OrSlow to all types of people, different age groups, different genders, different levels of being into clothes or fashion in general. It's just a really versatile brand, probably the most versatile that we carry. We focused on more seasonal pieces, but there's plenty of core there.
And lastly, if by chance you found this video and you're shopping for somebody else, I just want to shout out what Timothy said. You want to get something for your significant other in your life? Let me know what size you got. Shoot me an email, shoot us an email, a text, etc. through all the avenues. We'll interpolate it backwards for you, and we'll find that size for your loved one. That's about it. ShopCanoeClub.com. We have a podcast called Customer Service, wherever podcasts are.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.